Alright, everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. So we're playing catch up with Shonen Jump this weekend, so we're just going to do a quick couple of channel update stuff before we dive into the Spy Family chapter here. So I just finished recording videos for Akane and Kaiju. Those should be up on the channel by now. Like I mentioned, those videos, read-throughs, are basically going on hiatus until the end of this month because I'm just swamped with work and I do not want to risk burning out again. So I'm going to try to take it easy, and I still have to play catch up with Alita and a couple of other series I'm planning to do read-throughs for. So I figure it's better to wait and do it well rather than do a crap job on it. So I appreciate everyone's patience with that. With that said, I might, at least for the next month, the Shonen Jump stuff might also be on a bi-weekly rotation. Just because the only weekly series I currently cover right now anyway is Akane Banashi. Both Kaiju number 8 and Spy Family are bi-weekly series, and Goku Rakugai is a monthly series. So at least for the next month, it might make sense just to ease the burden on me a little bit to keep this bi-weekly, but we'll kind of feel that out and see how it goes. But before we dive into this chapter here, as always, if you like my content, please do consider commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Especially now, because it turns out that there was a recent little thread going around on Twitter where someone dug into its code and found out that unless you have a massive amount of followers, any external links you post to the site basically gets suppressed the hell out of, and you're basically screwed if you're a small content creator. So if you want to keep up to date with the videos on the channel, what's coming up, stuff like that, if you like what I put out, the best way to help and support me is to like, comment, subscribe, push all those little buttons, because it really does do a lot to help me out, and it would be greatly appreciated. So if you like my content, please do consider doing any of those. But without further ado, let's dive into Spy Family Mission 78 by Tetsuya Endo, with translation by Casey Lowe and lettering by Rina Mappa. I really hope, it looks like we're getting another extra chapter. I really hope it's not as disappointing as lackluster as last week. We see an alarm clock, and I think it's saying 7 o'clock. It's going off with a bring, 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 bring. And you see just this absolutely messy apartment room with clothes lying everywhere, empty bottles, just a pile of trash and a box sitting somewhere. And you see this poor little German Shepherd just curl up on the floor. And you see someone just reaching out their hand to smack the alarm clock as they're angry. And you see a snore from the bed. And the German Shepherd gets up with a woof, 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 starts yanking the blanket off. And they're like, stop it, cold. God damn. Oh, we're getting a handler-centric chapter. Okay, already, expectations for this are already going up now. And you see Westalis Embassy in Ostania. And you see a Scritch as handler's coming in looking all messy, scratching her hair. With a yawn, you have, "Good morning, Secretary Sherwood. You're cutting it close again today." She's like, "I'm so sorry." It's like, "God damn it, I left the materials for my afternoon meeting at home." And you have, "Sylvia, there's some dried pasta stuck to your clothes." Oh my god. He's like, "Wow, your hair's a mess. You should put more effort into your appearance." He's like, "Oh, my manicure's flaking off." And you see a ding as the elevator stops. He's like, "I'm gonna go look up some files." So could you not leave the records room a total mess, please? And you see her pressing some buttons on the elevator, I guess to take her to a secret room. She's like, I'm tired. God, that is such a mood. She clank, clank, clank in a ver. Yeah, she heads down into basement 2, and she swaps out her embassy glasses, the round, square ones for her normal rounder ones. And you have, "Good morning, everyone." And you have, "Good morning to you, handler." It's like, "Reports." It's like, "I have today's National Council schedule here. Here are the recent press releases from Metabol Heavy Industries. In regards to Westalis' annual budget estimate, here's an analysis of this recent SIGINT data related to the National Army, as well as here are standard updates from Eden Academy." And she goes, "I want 2 additional people posted near the Prime Minister's residence. Have our C1 team interface with military intelligence about the ongoing border security issues. Ignore their gripes about our homeland." It's like, "Yes, ma'am." And as she goes to sit down at her desk, you have one of the old guys walking up with the tump and her dump and her rustle as he drops the papers on her desk. And she's like, "Is that my damage report for the remaining stock from the facility?" It's like, "Listen, handler, How many times do I have to ask you to stop leaving your half-full coffee cups and half-eaten donuts lying around the office? It's a serious hygiene issue. We're going to get rats in here. It's like, calm down. I don't have time to clean up every little thing. It's like, then maybe don't get another coffee when you already have a mostly full mug. Who does that? He's like, just shut up already. Worry less about the rats in the office and more about the rats working for Eastern Counterintelligence. Like, you need to stop being such a slob, handler. And you have a ding. It's like, the amount of crap I get over every little thing. And you have want to grab some lunch with us, Miss Sherwood? It's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I need to run back home to walk my dog. You see how she goes back to her apartment. You have, Aaron, time for a walk. Time to meet with Twilight. And you have a woof as the German Shepherd goes skidding. Oh, poor baby. And you see him just slipping on a piece of paper and sliding headfirst into a cupboard with a gurk and a bang. It's like, what is wrong with you? Oh, poor baby's hitting his poor nose. It's like, no, that was my fault. Sorry for not tidying up. I used to keep a much neater house, but... Oh, God. And you see how she's looking over at the messy house. She thinks back to, when it was like more clean, or to this a different one. She looks like, flashes back to a different one where she sees, this guy just waiting for like a little girl to run into his arms in like a cleaner place. And she's like, when you've been alone for long enough, stuff like that just doesn't seem to matter anymore. He's like, I'll do it later. Let's go. It's like such a pain. He's like, woof! And you see at the dock park, you have wee and a wharf as Bond and Anya are playing, and she's just like running around with Bond chasing her. It's like, charge! And you have someone walking up to, was that Sylvia in her disguise? She's gotten a disguise with like a little bob. It's a good day, lovely weather, isn't it? It's like, what is she doing here with you? And Lloyd's like, good day. It's like, they say it's supposed to start raining after noon. And he's like, it's a half day at school and she really wanted to play. It's like, were you followed? You have a woof woof. It's like, I shook them. And you see a hey there as the German Shepherd goes up to Lloyd and he just like whines. And he grabs the little SD card, I think, out of the collar. It's like, what an energetic pup you've got here. And she's like, an extra mission for next week. You have, Aaron, no, bad dog. And he's just like jumping up and licking Lloyd. It's like, I don't mind at all. It's like, still every bit the taskmaster. And she's like, any progress with Melinda Desmond? It's like, do you think she'll be of use to us? And he's like, still nothing to report on that front. After the hijacking, they didn't come as a couple. It was just her alone. And Anya's like, wait, is that Papa's boss lady? And she goes up to her and she's like, hello there, young lady. He's like, that dog looks so strong. And you see a woof. And he's like, quiet, be nice, Aaron. And he's like, wait, is that dog? I knew it, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. He's like, wait, is that dog of yours? It's like, that's a German Shepherd. And he's like, yep, this is the bomb dog they were using to try to assassinate Minister Bruns. I took him home and have been taking care of him. And a lot of highlights like, I did not see that coming. And Anya's like, that was one of the bad guys' dogs? And you see the dog sniffing Bond going, been a while, huh? Sniff, 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 sniff. And Bond's like, Worf? And he just gets mad, like, woof, woof, roar! She's like, bad dog, no fighting. Bond's like, Worf, Worf. It's like, well, we're done here. He's like, sorry about that, we'll be on our way. And Lloyd's like, no trouble. And you see Shepard just staring back at Bond. And Anya's like, you want to play with that doggy, don't you, Bond? And he's like, Worf! He's like, charge! She goes running after him. Lloyd's like, hey, come back! She's like, hey, what's your doggy's name? It's like, huh? Oh, it's Aaron. It's like, that's cool. So who's he named after? Tell me! It's like, I looked at a book of names and that was the first entry. The dog just looks back and I'm like, Worf? It's like, oh, I know. Let's have a showdown. See who's the better dog, Bond or Aaron? And Lloyd's like, what are you talking about? It's like, sorry, ma'am, don't mind her. And Sylvia's just like, as Aaron's like, woof! He's like, sure, let's do it. He's like, what? It's like, sounds like fun to me. And she's like, all right, Twilight, let's find out which one of us has done a better job of training their dog. And Lloyd's like, listen, it's getting late. It's like, Handler, what on earth is the point of this? She's like, if you win, I'll make that extra mission go away. He's like, I accept your challenge. And Anya's just like, this is so exciting. It's like, there'll be 3 events. First, the obstacle course. Fastest to the end wins. And Sylvia's like, no way are my leadership skills getting bested by the likes of you, Twilight. It's like, let's go. And you see a woof. It's your woof, woof. And she's like dodging between the little sticks on the obstacle course, like leaping over the little hurdles, and like running through the little tubes. And Anya's like, oh, yeah, that's 39 seconds. It's like, wow, you're good, Aaron. And she's like, beat that. I mean, good luck. And Lloyd just looks over at Bond all serious, like, nod. You remember, and you see Bond. You see poor Bond just slamming into the barricade, falling off the little ramp, diving into a pile of leaves as he rolls off. And you see, wait, that was 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Do you have a heh? What do you think? Ready to concede? And Lloyd's like, are you kidding me? We've got this, right, Bond? He's like, Worf! You have the next event is tracking and retrieving. We hide our handkerchief somewhere in the park. The first dog to bring back the opposing owner's handkerchief wins. And you see a sniff, sniff, sniff as Aaron's sniffing Lloyd. He's like, I've wiped away as much of my scent as possible. And Sylvia's like, there's no way you'll find my hiding place easily. It's like, ready, set, go! So tum 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 as they're running around sniffing, and you see Bond just sitting there. He's like, I give up. And you see his stomach just gurgling with a gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. And he smells some delicious seafood pasta. And you see him grumbling, just wobble, wobble. And he's sniffing around. He looks under a bench where she just kind of taped the kerchief under the bench. And he's like, sniff, sniff. And he thinks back to Handler having a piece of dried pasta on her jacket. And Jeff, what? You found it already? Lloyd's like, good job. And he's like, yay. It's like, I thought I wiped away my scent. It's like, well, that ties it up. It's like the final event is the frisbee catch. The dog who can catch a frisbee throwing the farthest wins. Fail to catch it and you lose. And you have Lloyd going, then the thrower skill is important too. That should give us the edge. He's like, all right, Bond, just like always. You have a Worf? You have a perk as he has a future vision sight. He imagines them both throwing the discus as doing like a little arc. It's like, what the wind? A sudden gust out of nowhere. So cheating. It's like it's blown them back to us. It's like, let's try that again. And you see Lloyd just catching his out of the air. Bond's like, Shah. And you see Anya just like telepathically watching this. She's like, this match is in the bag. Jeff, ready? Go! Yeah, a swish as he just like throws it, and Bond's just sitting there waiting. He's like, what are you doing? Run! Jeff, a tum 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 as Aaron's running toward him. She's like, you got it, Aaron! And you see a whoosh as the wind blows it back. It's like, what the wind, a sudden gust out of nowhere. And Bond is just like, yeah. He's like, don't tell me you can smell the changing wind. And you see a twinkle, twinkle. He's like, woof! As Bond just leaps towards it. He's like, go, Bond! And it smacks him right in the face and he falls down. And she's like, Bond, don't die! And Lloyd's like, are you okay, Bond? He's like, Orf. She's like, maybe we should call this a tie. And, oh God, Anya's like, it was a lot of fun playing with you, Aaron. He's like, woof! And Sylvia's like, that reminds me, we don't know it definitively, but apparently some of the Project Apple research teams may still be operating. He's like, are they connected to Desmond through the previous administration? He's like, I don't know, but we intend to find out. He's like, Aaron, time to go home. And you see a woof! And Anya's like, looks like you had fun too, even at your age. And you see Handler just being like, at my age? And Anya's like, I mean, huh. And then she just pats her on the head. It's like, I did have fun today. Thanks, let's play again sometime. It's like, not that I'll ever use this disguise again. And Anya's like, woohoo! And Vaughn's like, Worf! He's like, till then. It's like, when I get home from work, I'll tidy up the house, okay? For real this time, I mean it. Alright. So, again, as a little kind of slice of life comedy chapter, this one was significantly better than the last one. Again, this is me kind of saying, like, this was not something I would have expected or even, I don't want to say I feel like this one would have been a little bit possibly trickier to handle. But again, I feel like this chapter, apart from, like, you know, like the joke of, like, Handler's, such a slob, like, no one likes the fact that she's so slobby. The little flashback she has, like, you know, where she imagines like her old life with her, husband and child playing together in like this clean little house. That and just like seeing the whole like messy house thing really kind of reminded me again of like the struggles that people with depression go through. Because again, like when you're depressed, it's very hard to find the energy or the time to actually motivate yourself to clean up anything. So to me personally, like that again, something that just like that hits me personally. Because I tend to do the same thing. Like I'll leave my clothes lying around in my room in piles everywhere for like a week. I'll let dishes pile up in the sink, food pile up wherever on the counter. So in that regard, like I totally sympathize with Handler, like being like, I'm so overworked, like, I have so much going on, I just don't have time to kind of clean up the house and like keep it clean. So again, I feel like if Endo-san had kind of done like a little bit more with that, like played up month on the sympathy of that a little bit more, I think this would have been a really, really phenomenal chapter. Like it could have been a phenomenal chapter if you dived into that a little bit more rather than the gag of like, ha ha ha, she's just, a very slobby person that doesn't take care of herself. Like in contrast with like, how efficient and how much of a workaholic she is at work with like how like everything she's memorized, like how quickly she doles out tasks and everything. So again, like I feel like this series could do a lot more with its basic premises and build up on them to actually kind of sympathetically talk about and portray things like mental illness, which I feel like is something that is missing in a lot of media. And I feel like this series is especially kind of well equipped to handle it, given the topics and stuff it tackles. I'm not gonna ding it for not addressing that or talking about it, because again, it is a very tricky issue to talk about, and it is very, very easy to kind of fall into stereotypes about it. Fall into stereotypes about it, and just mess and make the stereotypes around it a lot worse. So I'm not going to ding Endo-san for it, but again, it's just kind of like, when I see like the missing potential of it, it kind of just like gets to me, because I'm like, there's so much more you could do with subjects or premises like this. But apart from that, I did enjoy the chapter. I did enjoy seeing like, Handler having a little bit of fun with Bond and the other dog playing. But yeah, again, like, I don't know, like, yeah, like I said, if the entire chapter just kind of dealt with Handler's kind of like depression, fighting things, like trying to combat and stuff, I feel like that would have been far more effective than just kind of like, oh no, we'll do a Bond side plot as the B plot. But minor complaint, it was still a lot of fun. Seeing poor Bond, who has just no physical aptitude whatsoever, just kind of a klutz, always is amusing, so really enjoyed that. But yeah. I think one other minor thing is, I don't know, like, given again that we saw her having like a flashback to her child, I feel like again something that would have tied this chapter together beautifully is again Handler kind of having like a flashback or thinking about like how much she missed, just hanging around with her family, playing fetch, stuff like that. I feel like that would have tied it together more cohesively. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do like a little mini review or something about that. But apart from that, enjoyable chapter, much better than last time. But again, I don't feel like it lived up to its full potential. I'm hoping that though that the end that they're talking about, like the whole Project Apple, whole Melinda Desmond thing, I'm hoping that means we're now finally going to segue back into the main plot, and we might start to see Sylvia be involved in the main story more. Because I think I'd really like that. I'd like to see more of her, so we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I really kind of want to get back to the main plot. I'm kind of really itching for it after the whole one we had with Melinda and Desmond last time. So I'm hoping this was the last slice of life chapter 1, or like getting like 1 or 2 more. Because I'm really chomping at the bit to get back at it, so hopefully I'll come back soon. So with that said, like I mentioned, Akane, Kaiju, all the other stuff will be out today on the channel. Goku Rakugai will be out next week sometime. As always, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.